everyone, so today's look is a very easy and simple look using this palette by Mercier. Is the Eye Art Artist palette that I recently showed in my last video where I did a haul from Sephora. And so this is the look I came up with. I was going out to run some errands and I felt like doing a little something with my eyeshadow, so I hope you guys like it, and if you want to see how to do it, then stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is take this primer from CoverFX. This is the one that has a salicylic acid treatment in it, and it's made for acne prone skin, but this is the mattifying primer with acne treatment in it. And so I'm just going to apply that with my fingers all over my face before applying my foundation, which is my Makeup Forever Ultra HD, and of course my Ecotools Dome Bronzer Brush. Hello, such an awesome brush. If you haven't seen my video about it, I will link it down below, but it is a great brush for foundation. So I'm just going to start applying that all over my face, just sort of buffing it in. And what I do is I apply 1 or 2 pumps, or you can do however much you need or want to use on the back of your hand, and then sort of apply it to the brush that way. I know I've seen some people in tutorials actually pump it onto the brush itself. You could do that as well, but I just like this method of applying it to the back of my hand, then going in with this foundation all over my face. I do like this foundation a lot. I think it gives me a very natural finish. It does look more full coverage. It's definitely, I would say, medium to full buildable. And so next, some concealer, because mama got some dark circles and it ain't cute. So using my Naked Skin concealer from Urban Decay, I have the shade Light Medium Neutral, and I'm blending this into the skin with my beauty sponge. This is the one from, I believe it's, what is it called? Earth Therapeutics. There it is. Earth Therapeutics, and the sponge is actually dry. Believe it or not, I have not dampened the brush, or the sponge, sorry, to apply this concealer, and it works so good. And a lot of people say use the sponge wet to get a better finish, and that is true. You can use it wet, but for concealer, dry is not going to really do anything. So I haven't really used this concealer a whole heck of a lot. I haven't had it for that long to really sort of give like a review, but so far I do notice that it doesn't cling to any dryness under the eye. It doesn't look crepey or just nasty on the eye. It looks really good. So that's a positive thing, right? And then I'm setting my under eye area with the Mercier. This is the translucent setting powder. I got the small one because I wanted to see if the hype was real. And folks, it is. It's a really great translucent setting powder. And so I use that from under my eye, and as you will see here above my eyelids, to sort of get rid of that tacky feel from my primer prior to applying eyeshadow, so that my shadows will go on smoother. Next, I'm going to go in with the Makeup Forever Pro Finish Powder Foundation. I wear shade 120, and I'm just going to use the same Ecotools brush because it's that awesome, and I'm going to just go over all of my foundation with this powder. Next, going in with a bronzer. This is from Makeup Revolution. It's a set, like a trio set. It's the Blush, Brighten, and Flush, I believe. I think the shade is called Iconic. It's very weird. It's got all these names on the back. I don't really know what it's called, but any sort of bronzer. This one's a little bit on the warmer side. And I'm also using a new brush. This is part of the Sonia Kashuk 10-piece set that is out. It's a limited edition for the holidays, and I will list it down below, but it's one of the fluffier brushes. I think it's the biggest one, if not the second to biggest one that's in that set. And it's actually pretty soft. I'm surprised because I haven't used this brush prior to this filming this video. So I do think it's a really good soft sort of powder slash bronzing brush. And then I'm going to highlight with another Mercier product. This is the Baked Matte Radiance. Let me see. It's the Matte Radiance Baked Powder. What a long name for a product, but it's awesome. And again, I'm using another brush from the Sonia Kashuk sets. Alright, now moving on to the eyes, I'm taking the color called Vanilla Nuts, and it is, as the name says, a vanilla shade, and I'm going to be applying that with a Sigma E25 all over my lid. Again, in the same sort of idea of getting rid of any sort of tacky feel from my primer. It's an optional step, you don't have to do that. And then I'm taking the color Sparkling Dew, which is a shimmery, kind of like ivory champagne color, and I'm going to be applying that to my brow bone, and I'm also going to be using that as my inner corner highlight, and I'm using the Mikasa Beauty E220 brush to apply that, and it's such a pretty highlight shade, love it. Then I'm going to go in with the color called Bamboo, This one is a kind of taupey brownish tan color. It does have a bit of a kind of goldeny sparkle to it. It's not overly frosted. It's a really beautiful shade, actually. It's just so awesome. I'm applying that to my crease again with the same brush. This is a Sigma E25. It's one of the only brushes from Sigma that I actually really like and would recommend purchasing or recommend to anyone, because it's actually a pretty good brush to use for shadows, crease work, highlighting, all kinds of things. It's a great brush. Then I'm going in with Plum Smoke, which is a muted kind of plum shade, and it is matte, and again with the same brush. See, versatile. And I'm applying that to my crease, and basically what I did with the Bamboo Eyes, applied that first as a transition shade, and then I went in with Plum Smoke to sort of deepen up the crease and the outer V using the same brush. But what I've done is I've come a little lower with it initially, and then once I've applied it, as you can see here, I went a little bit higher just to kind of blend the two together. So hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm going in with Vanilla Nuts and Fresco, which Fresco is a sort of muted mauve pink color. I'm going to go over the whole crease area with that just to kind of soften everything. And then one of the prettiest colors in the palette is called African Violet, and this is a dusty purple with a golden sheen to it, or shimmer. And I'm using one of the Sigma eyeshadow, sorry, not Sigma, this is Sonia Kashuk, and it's one of the smaller eyeshadow brushes, number 106. And I'm applying that all over the lid. And then I'm going to sort of foil it a bit with the Smashbox primer water, and I'm going to apply that basically right over what I already applied. And what this is going to do is going to intensify it just a little bit, not over the top because it's not a very frosted color, but it's going to just amp it up a bit. Alright, now switching to a pencil brush, I'm going to take Fresco, again that soft kind of muted mauve pink color, and I'm going to apply that to the lower lash line. And I'm using another brush from the Sonia Kashuk sets. I believe this is the one from the 10-piece set, yes it is, sorry, from the 10-piece set. And I'm going to apply that, and of course I switched to my MAC 219 because that's my tried and true, my baby. I love it. It's an awesome pencil brush. Then I'm going over everything with Plum Smoke just to kind of tie in some of those plummy shades that we have on the upper crease, sort of bring those down to the lower lash line as well. And then taking Espresso Bean, which is a very intense brown. It is so beautiful. It is matte as can be. Love it. And I'm adding some of the Violet ink as well, which is another matte, but a very deep, sort of sultry dark purple. It's gorgeous, great for the crease, smoking out the lower lash line. And I've added just a tiny bit because, again, this is a very simple everyday look. I didn't want to go over the top because I can go over the top real quick. And then going back in with the Violet ink on the tip of that brush, I'm going to start deepening out the outer V just to kind of add a little oomph to this look. I felt like doing this step. This was a very last minute decision here, but I thought, why not? And I actually really like the way it looked. It just gave a little bit of a softer definition to the outer V, and it just pulls everything from the lower lash line up into the outer V, and I feel like it makes the look complete. Again, it's another optional thing. You don't have to do this if you don't prefer to do this sort of step for your looks, but I love it. Then I'm also making sure that with that brush, as you can see, that motion that I'm doing, kind of swinging from the outer corner down to the lower lash line and going back and forth, I'm making sure that my outer V and my lower lash line sort of connect and follow the shape of my eye. So that sort of motion of swinging from the top to the lower, I don't know how to describe it, but that always works to make sure everything is very seamless and blended and it goes together. Now I'm taking the smallest little tiny brush from the Sonia 10-piece set, and I'm taking the Espresso Bean color, which is that dark brown. I'm going to smudge that to the root of the lash so that I don't have a harsh line. I didn't really want that look for the day, and I'm just going to kind of smudge it. And that's the perfect color to do that because it is matte. It is just such a great liner color. It's amazing. So you could do eyeliner, pencil, liquid, gel, whatever you want. So I just chose to keep it pretty soft and simple because, I don't know, that's just what I wanted. And then, of course, I feel like going back and blending and adding a little bit more wherever I feel like I need. And then, of course, to finish the look off, I'm taking a black pencil liner, dipping into the Maybelline gel liner in black, And this is the pencil liner by Lancome. And I'm going to be tight lining. So running this really close to the root of the lash so that I fill in any sort of little gaps that I may have. I'm trying out two new Revlon mascaras, the blue one and the green one. I don't know what the collection of this mascara range is called, but they recently came out. So I'm going to start with the blue one, which is Volume and Length Magnified. And this one has a brush that I would prefer over the green one, and I'll show you that one here in a minute. And so I'm going to just apply this, just one coat to my lashes. It's not my favorite formula. I feel like my Maybelline The Rocket Volume is better than both of these, hands down. But you know me, I see something new, I gotta have it, I gotta try it. And so I will be testing these out a little bit more. My opinion may change, but for now it's good, but it's not the best. Then I'm going in with the green one, and this is the super length. And see how jumbo this brush is? It's like, my goodness, can it get any bigger? And this one has like little tiny little microfiber hairs, I guess. I don't know. It's weird, bizarre. So I'm going over it carefully just because, one, the formula is a little too wet, and two, the brush is really big. So I'll talk about that in another video. Moving on. Taking some blush. This is the matte blush by Makeup Revolution in the shade Nude. And applying that to the apples of my cheek and blending it upwards into like my hairline. This is the E4 brush from Morphe brushes. It's part of their Elite collection. Such an awesome brush for blush. It's great. My blush looks a little bit crazy here, but in person it's really not. And so what I do is I'm taking the F200 brush by Mikasa Beauty to blend everything out and soften out those edges. Then for lips, I'm using the Bite Luminous Cream Lipstick in Date, which is a beautiful nude color. It's kind of like a brownie nude. It's not too pink, it's not too warm or too cool. It's just right. So it's a great lipstick to wear with a lot of different looks. And so this is the completed look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.